Hey guys, it's Nina Zeta with Sidewalker Daily, and in today's video, I want to talk about how to post consistently on social media. I work with so many creators and influencers and businesses and people who want to be on social, and then they come to me and they're like, Nina, the overwhelm is real. How do I get on a consistent schedule? How can I be consistent on this platform? And today's video is going to be sharing my biggest tips that I share with my community on how to stay consistent on social. So you guys are in for a treat today because I'm going to be sharing the advice that I give my clients. But I also just want to say that the fact that you guys are even watching this video or clicked here and understand the importance of being consistent, you're way ahead of the rest, because hopefully by the end of today's video you are going to at least figure out your system so that you can get on a system that works for you. And we'll talk about that and the importance of finding what works for you, because yes, being consistent on social is super important. Now I'm going to be diving in, but before I do, make sure you hit that little subscribe button if you're interested in all things social media, strategy, influencer marketing, creator marketing. We work with brands on their influencer campaigns, and we work with creators at all different levels and all different niches in tons of different ways. So hit that subscribe so you can be kept up to date when we produce new videos consistently, which we try to do a few times a week. Okay. So first of all, the first thing I always like to start off with is mindset, because yes, I'm going to be teaching you at the very end of today's video. So make sure to stick around to the end. I'm going to be teaching you my personal way. But before I get into like the actual tips and tricks, I need to set your mind to be like in a good headspace. Because here's the thing. If you are a person, a creator, a small business that is like, okay, I know I need to post consistently, you have to also kind of get yourself in headspace that this is a business, right? And that you're trying to either use social media to grow your current business, or maybe if you're a creator, you're actually trying to become your own personal brand. So when you start thinking about like, well, I got to show up to work today because this is the space that gives me business, that's going to help you kind of understand that's like, it is like going to work, right? People oftentimes say, creating content, especially for the creators that I work with, like they don't get enough credit. Creating content is like a full-time job. And for so many of my creators, it is a full-time job, right? So let's get into the headspace of like, this is part of the work. This is part of the job. We have to show up to work today, especially when social is bringing you in income and revenue, or you hoped for it to one day, then you have to invest that time to show up. So we have to show up. And with mindset, that goes into thinking about showing up not as a chore, right? If you are dragging your feet to post, if you're like in a funk about it, if you're in a bad headspace, if you're a creator, influencer, or someone that's doing this for fun, are you even having fun anymore? And that's something you may want to even consider personally, right? Not that going and showing up for content is fun. I know before I had to shoot today's video, I was researching and prepping and doing all the other things that I had to do. But now that I'm here, I'm like, this is fun. I enjoy this, right? So creating content for your community should ultimately be something that you are enjoying and not seen as a chore. If you see it as a chore, maybe you're not getting those results that you're looking for. You may have to tweak some things from the strategy perspective. And also what it comes down to when we're posting consistently on social, what does that even mean, right? Like posting on YouTube, a consistent YouTube schedule is very different than an Instagram schedule or a TikTok Reels, a TikTok schedule or a Reel schedule. And what I'm trying to show you guys is that like longer form content, right, takes probably a lot longer to make. And it also depends on the production value. So when I say production value, I mean like if you're taking a video like this, where you're just sitting in front of a camera and talking, it's a lot lower production than if I had to take this camera and do different shoots and vlog and climb up a mountain and all that stuff, right? It's just a different level of production. I was talking to one of my food bloggers the other day, and when we were coming up with her pricing, we were talking about that, like recipe development, higher priced product, right? Versus just like doing a piece of content in your, in your kitchen easily. So understand production value will affect your level of consistency, because if it's if you have these expectations of wanting to create tons and tons of content, but it's actually taking you a really long time to create one piece, then you're gonna have to figure out, okay, what's a good system? What's a good schedule? I know for YouTube, right, like we're talking 1 to 2 videos a week is definitely a win. Same thing for my bloggers because they're writing like a bigger piece of content. For my photographers or for people who are creating short form content, it's a little bit different because those platforms require a little bit more. So when you're thinking about, okay, how do I post consistently and how do I like create a consistent social media calendar or schedule, think about production value, right? Like in terms of how long it's gonna take you, and then the platform that you're posting on, because again, depending where you're posting, the frequency of how much you need to post will change. So that can help you get on a schedule. Now, speaking of schedule, some people do like to use a scheduler to post their content. Now, here's my thing. And that's exactly how I said some people, because every single person that is watching this has a different way of getting it done. And like I said, I'm gonna share my way of getting it done, but my way may not work for you, right? You have to find your way. So how do you know if you like a schedule? You have to give it a try. A lot of these websites have 7-day free trials. I know a lot of my clients like using Planoly or Later. They like to go in and schedule out their content ahead of time. This gives them a sense of ease, and it really helps them like in the big picture seeing their editorial calendars. They're not just like waking up and saying, oh my God, what am I posting today? And I don't agree in that type of work either, because that just would stress me out personally. I like to have a few weeks ahead of time. But again, you have to try these schedulers to see if they work for you. But you may end up loving it, and that will totally help you get consistent because you don't even have to think about it because you have it all scheduled out in some sort of schedule that will be auto-publishing for you. And even for YouTube guys, you can schedule out your videos ahead of time as well. You'll upload your video and you can just kind of choose when you want this video to be published. So you can take that initiative to post, ahead of time, get organized, figure out what does your calendar look like, because it helps you in the big picture schedule it out ahead of time. Now, one thing that I think helps all my clients when it comes to posting consistently on social is to not get overwhelmed by all their content ideas. So yes, I will often say, get a notepad, keep a notes on your phone. What are some ideas that come to you? Write them out, right? But here's the thing, if you're anything like me, those creative ideas can be totally random sometimes and take you down a creative rabbit hole that you may not even be wanting to produce content that doesn't even make sense with your brand. So what I'm trying to get at is when you have a clear vision of your niche and your content pillars, and okay, I create content under these 3 buckets. Let's just call them content buckets, right? I create content in these different areas. It will help you say no to those pesky ideas that may come in the way. And they're like, oh, Nina, you should do a video on this. But wait, actually my audience doesn't even care about that, right? So having content pillars helps you stay organized, and helping you stay organized will help you be consistent, because you can actually take those ideas and now that you're writing them out, you're saying to yourself, well, okay, here's these ideas, and then I'm gonna start actually just putting them in the calendar, and these are the dates, right? And it really just helps you get organized, not only just having ideas for fun, but ideas that are relevant to your niche, that will help you, push your bottom line, that will get you the audience that you want. And that's why having them in buckets is so important. Now, of course, if you're a creator or someone that is posting on social and you're still stuck on your niche, that is the first place to be. That is the most important piece of the big pie, because it helps you get clarity. And if you're still lost on that, I have something very special for you. It's our niche course. I'm gonna go ahead and link it below. This niche course is not only gonna help you identify your niche, drill down, get that clarity, it's also gonna help you content plan and bundle out your content for the next 52 weeks. So I show you exactly how to do it within this course. So that's for you. And if you want to check it out, that's below. Now let's talk about what works for me as someone that also creates content and what I advise to my clients. And then let's talk about what may work for you. Okay, so for us here at Sidewalker Daily, I personally love doing my research, like I said, those content ideas within my bucket pillars ahead of time. And what I'll end up doing is I'll have all these notes of ideas of content titles that I want to do. And then of course I can't talk about creating a video on posting consistently without batching. I like to batch. Now, if you don't know what batch content is, it's shooting content all at once. and in a batch way, right? So it's not like me waking up every single day and creating a video every day. Today, I'm gonna film probably like 4 videos, 5 videos, and I will drip those out within the next couple of weeks. That's my process. But guess what? I have a film day, but I also have a script writing day, because I don't just get up here and chat, right? I do my research, I have my notes, I have what I wanna share on the screen, all those things that go into my particular process. So I have a script writing day and a research writing day, and I have a shoot day, right? So that works for me. And they're very, very particular days in my calendar. I don't take calls on that day. Those are the days that I know that I need to be like in production mode. Now, this style of doing the work doesn't work for some of my people. Like, they don't like to feel, first of all, they don't create the same type of content as me, right? Where they're sitting and giving educational value. They're creating different types of content. So they don't want to feel like forced creatively. So interestingly, I just had a guest speaker join us for our Inner Circle guest speaker calls. The Inner Circle is our private membership community for creators, and her name is Monet from The Traveling Child. She is a full-time content creator. She's amazing. And one of the questions I asked her was like, what's your content schedule? Like, how do you post consistently? And funny enough, what we were talking about was, she was like, I don't want to waste time. Like, for example, writing a blog article that may take me 2 hours, but spend 8 hours because I have to do it on a Tuesday. She's like, what if I don't want to write on a Tuesday, right? What if I don't have that creative inspiration to write on a Tuesday? But maybe a couple of days down the road, she can bang out 3 articles in one day. So it's all about figuring out and being efficient with your time. So I think if you're that type of creator that isn't like me, like I have my shoot day and my film day, and I'm gonna do it no matter what, rain or shine, because that's how I work, and I'm able to plan things out 4 to 6 weeks ahead of time. So if you're more on that creator time that you don't want to have a set day because it just doesn't work at you, well, then maybe you can think to yourself, okay, what's the number of pieces of content that I want to create this week? And then setting yourself like just kind of like a deadline. So you don't have to do it Monday or Tuesday, but you know it needs to get done by the end of the week. So this may be a way for you to stay consistent without having to, have like a specific date that you are following. You like to give yourself a little bit more time, but it needs to get done. And I think what's so cool about me talking to other creators and finding out like their rhythm, their way of doing it, is again, everyone has a different way of doing it. So if you're watching, don't feel like you need to compare yourself to other people's ways. That's probably one of the worst things you can do, because then you'll get into the comparison game and like, well, she does it this way, why doesn't it work for me? Well, because you know what, we're programmed differently. So don't be hard on yourself about like figuring out what method. What you should be focusing on is testing different methods and see which one gets you in a groove. Being a creator does require discipline. It is hard, I get it. But again, it's work. We're showing up to our work. We're showing up to our place of business. So you will have to find your system to get it done. Now, one of my favorite tips that I do here at Sidewalker, and it has saved me a lot of time, because again, being consistent on social, one of the biggest things is the overwhelm, right? Like, oh my God, I have to create so much content and like put it out there, and comparing yourself to so-and-so and this, that, the other. So one of our favorite tips that I personally use, and I would again recommend for you to try it and see if it works for you, is repurposing content. A lot of times people are not consistent on social because they run out of ideas and they feel overwhelmed and they're like, I don't know what to post, I don't know what to post. But here's the thing, in my system, when I'm researching my headlines or pieces of content I want to create, or blog articles, when I'm doing this research, I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's my one big piece of content for the week? And then how can I break that piece up into micro pieces? So for example, this video right here on the screen, how to pitch like an influencer. This was a big video for us. It took us a lot of time for me to research and put together. And then this now became an Instagram post. I've also used this exact information in a blog article. I've used this information in Instagram stories. And again, I tend to do that with a lot of my content. So in terms of being consistent, you may say to yourself, okay, well, how do I like actually post daily or post weekly, or whatever your frequency is going to be? It can help you if you know that you're going to have one piece of content that's kind of like the star piece, the macro piece, the big piece. And then figuring out, okay, well, how do I take what I did here and batch it or slice it into smaller pieces so that I have content for the other platforms? That has helped us tremendously in staying consistent. consistent because we have content now to post on other platforms. And even though I'm redoing it, I'm not just like copying and pasting, this YouTube video and shredding it up. The ideas that it took me, to come up with for today's video will eventually be maybe an Instagram reel, maybe it's a TikTok, stories, blog posts, email newsletter, all of that. So being consistent, guys, like I said, is finding a system that works for you so that you can actually show up to work, to your place of business here on social every day. So hope you guys liked today's video and that it helped you kind of get in a good space to be consistent. Like I said, if you guys are interested in all things social media and influencer marketing, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Leave me a comment on how you stay consistent. Remember, we're all reading each other's comments, right? Not only am I reading it, other creators are reading it. So if you have a tip that has helped you or that has like totally changed it up for you, please share it with us so that we can all learn together. And I will see you guys in the next video.